I'm just sitting here watching it get dark out of this front windscreen. Pat sat on the bed watching the telly. I just think that this is living in a van. What would I be doing if I was in a house right now? I wouldn't be looking at this. It's just there's nothing I would rather be doing than this right now. There's nothing complicated about it. This is just living in a van. I've been parked here since Monday. I'm not fed up. I don't want to charge around. What more can I want? It's going to get darker and darker. Watching the world get darker and darker. There's a star up there. One there. You see that star? Wonder what that is. Wow. Van life. I've got a glass of white wine. It's warm as toast and it's cold out. It's Pat watching telly. It's amazing. Look at that. What more do you want? Okay, that seems better. Having trouble here with getting lighting right. Had a real cold night last night, didn't we, Pat?
Didn't have.
Yeah.
My little nose felt it.
I had to go and put the heating on low for a bit, yeah.
First time we've done that.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It was very cold.
It was. Yeah. Well, you know, we moved down to Waddingham. And we commuted for a year. Took me an hour and a quarter to drive from Leeds to Waddingham, which was equivalent to driving over the other side of Leeds in the traffic. Yeah, sounds weird, but it worked out like that. So we carried on running the shop for a year, commuting, and I think what I did was, I've been thinking about it, and I think I stayed overnight on a Monday and in the shop, and then I stayed overnight on Friday, and you used to get the bus and the train.
Yeah.
And on a Saturday, didn't you, with Tracy? You and Tracy used to come up. Did you drop Tracy at Grandma's?
No, I used to. Tracy used to stay with oh dear, Karen for weekends.
School friend down in Waddingham.
Yeah, she used to stay with her, and I'd get the bus and train, and I'd get off of the bus and go straight to see my grandma, who were in.
It can't have been initially because, oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Because we intended Grandma to come with us, because she'd Grandma had been run over by a motorbike, and she had an ulcerated heel or something that didn't heal, and we were gonna bring her down with us to Waddingham, but she had a stroke in between time, and so and she were in Chapel Allerton, yeah, and you used to go and see her.
Yeah, I used to get off at train and go to the bus station and get bus down into Chapel Allerton.
Right. So that's how we were doing it for about a year. And then we decided it were no good. We'd had enough. And I wanted, I mean, there were these I just wanted to drive down country lanes to tune pianos and have a little workshop in a village, and not have to get involved in all the traffic, which is how it actually eventually worked out. I mean, I used to drive to a customer and I might encounter 1 or 2 cars. It was brilliant. It did get busier over time, but initially it was great. So what we had, when we closed the shop, we did rent it out, didn't we? And I got a job delivering coal with George Smith.
Yeah.
I was delivering coal with George Smith, and were you working up at the M place?
I think so.
Is that what we did?
Yeah.
This sun's coming out.
Collecting eggs, I mean, from poor little battery hens, which didn't stand right with me, but
it was a job.
Yeah, it was a job. There weren't many jobs going in villages.
Well, we had to start from scratch, didn't we? Because
delivering posters through people's letterboxes about piano tuning.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I advertised down there in the newspapers, and I had to start right from scratch. So until we could get going, I worked delivering coal with George. Yeah.
That was funny, wasn't it?
Why?
Well, he spent that much time at one customer's chattering that
He was hopeless, was George. He were a right chatterbox. He was, yeah. He were a right chatterbox. And he used to spend so long chatting at customers' houses to get the job done, really. He could have done all.
He'd been a taxi driver in London, hadn't he? A high-class chauffeur.
Yeah.
And I think he met his wife there, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a Cockney, was George.
Yeah, they were Cockneys.
Well, not his wife, not Jo. She was born, she was local.
Was she local?
Local lass. Well, that's why they came, but she'd gone down to London to do the same thing as Jo, and she met George, and eventually they came back to Snitterby, just the next village up, and started a family.
Yeah, so quite a bit older than her, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He was a lot older than Jo. But eventually it did start picking up, but I got a shot out of the blue when Melvin contacted me and asked me if I fancied going to work in France. Two partners who had a piano shop in Caen in France, John Michel and John Francois, who used to buy pianos from Melvin, asked Melvin if I fancied going out there to tune for them. And because we hadn't got established by then, I took it. And And I used to go to France for 10 days. I used to drive down to, is it New Haven? And park the car in a garage, get the ferry, or at Dieppe. And they used to come and pick me up. And I used to work there for 10 days. At first I stayed in a boarding house. There's a funny story there. I couldn't speak a word of French. And I stayed in this boarding house, the auto bar. And
You used to read a lot then, didn't you?
I did. I used to read. I used to read a lot. I used to sit in the bar downstairs and read. And, well, I didn't want to spend all my money. I used to make a drink go a long way. But I had my meals there. I had an evening meal there. But something happened because they were starting to get this smell in my room. And I thought that every time I came back into my room, I could smell this smell. And eventually I spotted it. It was cat shit in the room. So I thought, how am I going to communicate this to anybody? And I went down and the cook, the lady who ran the place wasn't there, but the chef was there. And I said, come. And he followed me up the stairs, and I pointed to this shit. Oh, sacre bleu. So he told the lady who could speak a bit of English, and she apologised and cleaned it up. And then every time I used to come in for my evening meal, the chef used to look through the door from the kitchen and go like this, meow. Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, I used to go on every morning. There were a pony and trap racing course, track in Cairn, and I used to run down to this track and run round it, and then run back. I was fit as a lot, really. But one day I was coming back from this track, and something hit me on this bone here, and
Thought you'd been shot, didn't you?
I did. The impact sent me back a bit. And I looked on the floor and there was this porcelain ink container or something. And someone had thrown it at me out of one of the flats above the shops. They obviously knew I was English, and they didn't like the English, didn't the French? Although, whether it was because during that time there was a big thing going on. There's a lot of Italians lived in Cairn, and Liverpool were playing in the European Championships. I think it was in Belgium. They were playing Italy, I think, and an Italian team or something, or at the Eisel Stadium, and this wall collapsed and killed a lot of Italian supporters or something. That happened round about that time. So whether it were all to do with that, I don't know. Yeah.
What that got to do with English? Why they blamed English? I don't know.
Well, Liverpool are English.
Yeah, but...
And I was English.
Blame English. It wasn't them who knocked all over.
It was.
It?
Well, they did,
or
yeah.
They...
They were fighting, yeah.
Right, they were fighting.
Yeah, they were fighting,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll leave that story there. There's a couple of amusing stories from the French thing when I worked in France. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.